you're stuck in fossil fuel and you don't see that future is renewable.
Here we go. Hello, so welcome to a new interview in the Energy Bridge. Today we have Professor Mirza, and your last name is
Kušljugić, it's a little bit difficult.
Okay. It's a colleague, electrical engineer from University of Tuzla, from Bosnia and Herzegovina, right?
Right.
Okay, amazing. So we are very excited to interview you because you were moderating a panel here in Belgrade Energy Forum, and we were researching a bit about your work, but we want to know you. How has been the challenge being electrical engineer in energy sector in Bosnia, in Western Balkans? So yeah, if you could tell us a bit about you, your beginning in the sector, studies, and then to know you.
Okay, so let's go backwards. So I am here representing Regional Sustainable Energy Transition Center.
Reset.
It was Reset, yes. It was established 5 years ago. Idea was that there is a need for continuous activity aiming to impact policymakers, that the energy transition should be sustainable, not market-driven, not chaotic, which unfortunately we see in the region. So we started as a think tank, usually policy papers you publish, you have some donors who support you. We've been working with the European Climate Foundation and Open Society Foundation and other foundations who support that activity in the region. But then at a certain moment we decided that we have to do a little bit more. And now we are pretending or hoping to develop as a research-based think and do tank. Okay. So what do? We do pilot projects. We do new concepts. We try to prove that even in the Western Balkans, in the countries that we cover, 6 countries, it's possible to modify European models, foreign models, and to adopt it to the local environment. So my background, I'm a power engineer. I was a professor at the University of Tuzla. Now I'm a professor emeritus in exactly power systems. But also in my previous life was a little bit involved in politics and in diplomacy. So at a certain moment, you see that maybe priority should be given in the region to policy, not the politics. Because policy usually here is transport from EU, which is wrong.
Yeah, from Brussels.
You cannot use the same policies. Okay, you can use a key, but you cannot use the same policies in the region where, for example, in European Union countries you had 25% of the consumption in a household. In the region
50?
is 25%.
25.
In the region is 50 to 60%.
Wow.
So it's different. It's different system. You have good distribution networks in Europe. You have poor distribution networks here. So there are specific challenges. There are also specific opportunities, especially regarding renewable energy. So we are trying to come up with documents, with presentations at the conferences, and to, I would say, initiate serious approach to very complex process, which we call energy revolution, which was the title of the panel today.
Energy revolution, yeah.
Mirza, if you could explain a bit more about what are the regional challenges, what are the regional opportunities?
Okay, you have a complex process. I mean, it's part of the technology revolution. So it's complex, it's radical. So you have political, economic, social, technical, legal, environmental, very complex issues. And you have to identify which are the bottlenecks. This region has never been part of front runner in technological changes. It's always follower, historically. So we cannot really contribute to developing new technologies. This region also cannot finance from the internal resources, big transformation like energy. We depend on foreign money, or EU assistance, etc. So, how do you combine what you don't have with something which is necessary to implement? Obviously, the first condition is political, which is very problematic here. There is no clear decision that it's the direction where people want to go. Our governments sign agreements, they, through the energy community, agree on everything, but when implementation comes, you see that they are still stuck in the past. So we are trying to impact policymakers, decision makers.
And also, Major, if you could first explain a bit about the energy mix scenario there, then we can go into the opportunities and challenges.
Okay, then you get to the advantage of the region. So what's the potential of the region for energy transition? We are, as it is known, stuck in the coal at the moment, but when you look potential of renewable sources, specifically Bosnia and Herzegovina is probably the country in Europe which has potential to be fully renewable, not only in power, but to be fully renewable in heating and transport.
Wow, how so?
Hydropower resources in Bosnia and Herzegovina are comparable with Norway.
Okay.
Excellent, flexible, seasonal.
Yeah.
Wind, very good. Solar and the space, biomass, even geothermal. So basically, when you look at the IRENA studies and you see the Bosnia and Herzegovina, it's plenty. Small country, not big consumption, not too many people. So mentally you are stuck in fossil fuel and you don't see that future is renewable, and you import gas, you import oil, and you say we are for energy sovereignty. You are energy sovereignty, you import two important fossil fuels because you are stuck in a coal as a traditional.
How much energy that this region has to import?
Bosnia and Herzegovina imports all oil and all gas, but we export electricity, but that's export from thermal power plants. So Bosnia is the biggest exporter in relative terms in Europe. It's between 2.5 and 5 terawatt hours. So which is, let's say, 1/3 of our production. Now it will be problematic.
1/3 is
1/3 of our production is only for export, EU.
Only for export. Wow.
It goes to the EU. Okay, it's mainly from thermal power plants with the new regulation of carbon pricing, with the CBAM, it will be complicated. And at the same time, you have very vital private sector who is developing renewable. Wind, half-half. Public companies have developed so far half capacity and private sector developed half the capacity. Don't forget that the public sector doesn't need PPAs. They have consumption, they are supplier. And the private, they have to do it on the market. They have to provide flexibility. It's much more challenging. And when you consider solar, it's for the last 3 years, around 700 megawatts, which is the biggest in the region. Private, 100%, all private. One is, maybe 100 is a feed-in tariff, which was now on the market. About 250 are large scale, private. And about 350 is something which I'm very proud of. It's production for self-consumption of small and medium-sized enterprises, 350 megawatts, without regulation, without status of active buyers, without possibility to export surplus in the network, and they're doing it.
So how do you do such a project with no regulation?
Well, that's also advantage for private sector because there are no barriers, there are no obstacles, there is no corruption, no red tape. They do it for themselves. And they take risks. They take risks. And
are there rewards for the risk that they're taking so far?
So far they are operating. So far they are building. So far they are working. I don't know what's their profit margin or how they are working. That's outside of our consideration, but they are the leaders. The first batteries will be installed by private sector, definitely. So the last wind power, 84 megawatts, was private sector, foreign. The first one, foreign. So in the pipeline, you have 2 gigawatts of wind, 80% private. You have 4 gigawatts of solar, 85% private. So in that situation, there is a huge potential. But the biggest potential of Bosnia and Herzegovina and the biggest potential of the Western Balkan region is flexibility of our hydropower. Croatia, Bosnia specifically, Montenegro, Serbia, and Northern Macedonia and Albania. When you put that all together, the flexibility of hydro, which is badly needed in Central Europe, is comparable to Switzerland, Austria, Norway.
Wow, I mean, all Western Balkans are interconnected.
Oh,
between
interconnection is very good.
Okay, between your 6 countries, right?
Very good because it was one country,
Okay.
and there was a good network. Now it's 6 countries, but network is
It's
the one
still
that
there.
400 kV ring is there, connections with the neighboring Greece, Croatia, Slovenia, Austria,
Okay,
Hungary.
and we were making a research about your work, and you have papers from 2009 promoting the Western Balkans integration in Europe electric market. How have you seen the evolution from like 20 years ago, kind of 15 years ago?
The integration of the market has been promoted by the energy community. That's the mission of energy community, market integration of the region in European market, and it's going on.
Okay.
Bosnia and Herzegovina is the laggards. We still don't have the exchange. We don't have power exchange, but it will be going on. Our problem is that it's not systematic and strategic integration. It's straight. You have surplus, you sell, you have cheap electricity from German solar, you buy, you increase a little bit your financial. I'm talking about power companies. And it's short term. It's not
Right,
long
like
term.
112.
It's not long term. Long term would be regional coordination. And then you will have a little bit stronger player. How you can do it? Maybe you can do it through the market. Maybe you can do it through the joint projects. But definitely what we were promoting for 15 years is sit down, guys, and coordinate your asset.
Let's work together.
And then you are an important player. And then you can offer something to the European Union. And when you offer something which they badly need, then maybe you can ask for usual assistance that countries in the EU are getting to get out of the coal, to get coal phase out, to go through the whole process. So it's win-win. Unfortunately, political division, legacy of the war, conflicts, unresolved, and corruption and everything that is, when you say Balkans, prevented that. Maybe private sector will lead the role, but hydropower plants are controlled by state sector, by electric power
all
companies.
hydro are public.
100%.
By state.
100%.
Okay.
There's just a few small ones, and small hydropower plants, which are private.
But it's super interesting that all Western Balkans could provide flexibility to Central and
We
Western
did
Europe.
provide flexibility 50 years ago. We exchanged flexibility of hydro with Sweden, with Switzerland and Austria 50 years ago. It's complementary. Hydro in Switzerland and Austria is complementary to hydro in the Balkans.
Because
So it's
of the
win-win.
seasons.
Because of the rainfall, because of all the characteristic of complementarity. And if you combine solar, wind, water, and storage,
It's good.
then you can get local consumption covered with the cheap. And don't forget, this region is also very rich in biomass,
Biomass also. Okay.
above the average.
When we say biomass, wood chips and wood.
Forests,
Yeah.
residues, plantations,
Okay.
everything that you can come, even in Serbia, agricultural waste. So bio.
Amazing.
bioenergy.
Okay. And Mirza, now if you could just touch upon what you're doing with Reset, what kind of initiatives that you're having to...
Okay, we are doing two things. We are doing things in the region. We are a network of experts. We don't have too many full-time employers. You may say that in Bosnia and Herzegovina is about 8 to 12 experts who are actively engaged. But in the region, we also have a pool of experts. In every country, 3 to 4. So what we try to do is to have an honest look what is the development of transition in the region. The first document that we published was so-called Barometer of Country Readiness for Energy Transition. Unfortunately, the conclusion is country not readiness for energy transition. I'm talking about political leaders and about parliaments, about governments, about state utilities. So we are trying to promote cooperation. We are trying to figure out how European Union should approach the region, which is not rigid approach that is currently being realized through the Energy Community Secretariat. We are in contact with Energy Community Secretariat, we exchange the ideas, we criticize them, they sometimes listen, sometimes they don't listen, you know what it is.
What are you
We are all
criticizing them about?
Well, there are two, for example, the last dispute was about regional energy trading system, regional ETS. When they started the idea, we said, it's not going to fly. Don't go that direction. So for 2 years, we argued with them. And finally, they said, well, it's not going to fly. But we lost 2 years. We also talked to the DG. We talked to some of our partners in Berlin. We are part of the Southeast Europe Energy Transition Think Tank Network.
Where is that based?
It's a virtual. It was established by Agora Energy. It started very ambitiously and then it will be slowed down. It's countries of Western Balkans plus Croatia, Romania, Bulgaria, and Greece.
Yeah.
So it was also Southeast. So we continue working in the Western Balkans. The network is not developing as it was meant originally.
Also, you said you guys are can-do think tank, and you're having several pilot projects. If you could tell us about that.
We are not a typical think tank because it's not possible to be in the Balkans typical think tank. So we had to evolve in something which we call think and do tank. So what we do, not consulting. When we see that we have a good idea how something could be implemented, of course you do mainly on the local level because it's possible. With our government, you do it. So we have been implementing for the last 4 years several projects on the local level, which we called decentralized energy transition or citizens' energy. So working with the small and medium-sized companies, several projects with local governments. The recent project is that we worked with the Open Society Foundation, helping them to put donations on the schools in Bosnia and Herzegovina, so-called Sunny Schools project. Now we are probably working with them further on along the establishing something which they call a Green Mayors Alliance in the Western Balkans. We also have experts in networks, so we combine technical, economic, legal, and social aspect. So we will focus next couple of years definitely on that. We call it broader citizens' energy. Yeah. And we have the conference that we have organized 3 years in a row on the subject, developing citizens' energy.
Where if
Sarajevo,
you want to
Sarajevo.
invite?
It's always in Sarajevo in November. It's not conference like this one. It's working conference. It's usually...
Do one thing.
Which people who are working, it's about 60, 70 people who are working in the area from different stakeholders per invitation without fees. And for the 3 years, we have 85% people who are coming every year.
Wow.
So that's
the same people.
Gathering from the region.
Only Bosnia. Putting that on the ground. Every year you have some outcomes, and then you.
We discuss. We define barriers. We define proposals, and then we try to lobby. and to coordinate efforts. We also are developing now a step further in these two components: education, resource center. We have a pilot project on platform, we call it Platform for Citizens Energy, which is web-based, whatever it will be. So we try to make impact and to push energy transition from the bottom, because
That's
from the top
good.
it goes very good. And okay, it's not easy, but we are positive it's possible, because we started with 20 companies 4 years ago, but we succeeded to get some champions and some which are good. And the leader, there is about that 2 companies, there is on Balkan Green Energy News, there is a report. So one of the companies, with our help, went from the energy audit to the level where they have today fully implemented more than a year energy monitoring system, and they are starting to use artificial intelligence to analyze their data and to increase energy efficiency, of course. Implementing measures, heat pumps, solar, everything is included. They are really our hope, because if you want to do something in the Balkans, you have to have a laboratory.
You have
People,
to have?
laboratory.
Okay.
People have to come, and
To
you have
see
to
that
tell
it's
them,
possible.
go there, and see if they succeeded, you may succeed.
So you see a big importance in between academia and industry collaboration?
Well, it's people in the rest are from academia. They are also specialists from industry. They worked also in electrical companies, so now they are involved. So it's quite flexible. But you can say it's academia and experts from industry who are cooperating with our partners. We don't call them clients, with our partners. And our partners are local governments, local non-governmental organizations, eventually citizens, and above all, small and medium companies.
And just some more on the challenges that you said. What kind of, so for example, what do you need from Brussels or from the EU Union? Because you said Bosnia and the region is dependent on them. So, like, if you can just list out some key initiatives, the key things that you need from them that could really benefit the region.
We need 2 things. We need to put, apart from top-down decarbonization, which is markets, interconnections, flexibility, foreign direct investments, PPAs, the whole conference, which we are participating now. We have to tell them, well, in European Union you also have bottom-up.
No,
You also have citizens, and that's what we also want to do here. So change the policy, provide some technical assistance, you provide some financial means for co-financing those projects. It's not okay that you, through the Western Balkans Investment Framework, provide 30% of the investments for wind power park to public companies, and you don't provide 30% for citizens. I know it's complicated for local governments, but support them. So we are advocating for changing the policy.
So that even
approach.
the private players can take benefit of that 30%.
Yes.
Because anyway, 85% you said is done by the private players, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you do need some technology transfer, and that's our university have to be better connected to the universities in Europe to re-establish connections that were at a certain moment after the war established, and then they somehow phased down, because we need continuous connection and exposure to new technologies, and then we need ecosystem for innovation. Local players, triple helix, quadruple helix, try to experiment, because decentralized energy transition is experimenting. It works, something is working here, something is not working, and we are trying to do pilot projects to show it's possible, to showcase.
Actually, one of your last research is about decentralization with PV, right?
Yes.
So if you could tell us a bit about this study or
We think
research?
that PV is not just producing electricity. Not just producing electricity for your self-consumption. It's not commercial. What we discuss is the prosumers, energy communities, etc. So we think it's a trigger that you start participating in energy transition. From PV, you go to energy management, you go to energy efficiency, you go to net zero decarbonization, and then you become player.
Yeah.
That's how we see PV.
Like
it's not just
engagement.
prosumer. So we don't specifically like what's happening in Montenegro, where electrical company putting PVs. It's passive. We more would like to see people active from the very beginning, like with small and medium-sized companies in Bosnia, which are also developing suppliers, engineers, finances. So then we identified typical bottlenecks, legal, certain financial, but then we identify very complicated bottleneck, which is grid, distribution grid. Much less developed than the grids in the European Union. And now we have set up a group of people, experts, who are supporting distribution system operators or distribution network operators, because they are still not system, to develop software solutions, to increase hosting capacity, to introduce data-driven planning and operation, which is basically the smart grid. So that's the last project that we are doing. Of course, we are doing that with the experts from university, from company, together with them. So we'll see. We'll see what will be the result.
And as you said, the grid is not as advanced as, I mean, even advanced countries are having problem with their grid, so we can totally understand what you guys are facing. But the battery storage becomes really even more important for Bosnia, right?
Batteries everywhere. It's disruption technology. Battery plus PV for these companies. Battery in a distribution grid, not just for arbitrage, but also for services. Battery in the transmission grid, which of course big companies will do it. So we of course expected batteries to play an important role. So when you talk about citizens' energy communities, is definitely PV plus battery and energy management, and demand side management.
And are there
Demand
already
response.
some private players who are deploying it
We expect that in the next year.
in the next year?
We expect the first batteries in Bosnia this year.
And you said about 10 megawatt, right? That's the first one that is getting deployed.
Oh, it will
What
be
is the
much
state
more.
of
It
it?
will be much more.
It will be
Much more.
I think the first one which will be employed will be on the transmission level.
Yeah.
I expect it will be at least 100 megawatt hours. It will be for secondary regulation.
And what is
So
the
big players will be, big private players
private.
will probably.
So what is the autonomy that you are envisioning with this battery storage system? 4 hours, 8 hours, 10?
The most economic solution for each player. In some companies it will be 2 hours, in some companies it will be 4 hours.
What they can.
What is the portfolio, and that's why we developed open source based energy monitoring system
Wow. Okay.
for that leader company, flagship company. They've been collecting data for 1 year.
Okay.
It's local, so they understand what's going on. It's a full-fledged energy monitoring system which was built by our experts on an open source platforms using the cheap available hardware. So it's not Schneider, it's not ABB, it's not Siemens, because they cannot afford that. So we'll see.
Wow.
Every load profile will require different battery sizes. But the most important part is control. Software.
management, yeah.
Software.
So, Major, it's getting very insightful, but we understand that we also have an event that we have to attend. But some closing arguments. Why? I mean, your initiative is very important to the region. What do you expect from people like us who are based out of Vienna, what kind of message that you would like to give to Vienna, I mean, also here, what are you talking to people? What exactly key message that you have come here to tell?
Look, you start with the think tank in the Balkans. First 2 years, people don't know what you are, think tank. What? We are not in America, we are not in Europe. Even European think tanks are consultancy, foundations, etc. So after the initial stage, when people start understanding what we want to do, we are now in the next stage. And it's a regional networking in the Western Balkans. And we are looking for the partners who want to help us or to network with us.
Here we are.
Yeah, okay, yeah. We are looking for the partners, like motivated partners. We did have cooperation with the big consultancies and with the big think tanks like Agora Energy, like Ecoris, like partners in Croatia, Romania, Bulgaria, and Greece. But what we are now basically trying to do is focus on bottom-up approach, 80%, 20% regional issues, and try to develop not projects, but process. So one new project that we are now trying to develop as a process, well, it's called, I hope we will develop it, it's a challenge.
Yeah.
It's called Sustainable Energy Transition Innovation Center. And we are hoping to develop that in Bosnia and Herzegovina in 4 cities, together with universities, together with the Dutch partner, and together with the Dutch Center of Excellence and Dutch technical universities. We can have similar project with Austria. I mean, we have so many students and colleagues and engineers in Austria.
And how did you start with this Dutch partnership?
They found us.
They found you.
They found us and they said, we'd like to do something with you. We proposed.
Okay.
They wanted, it's a little bit more broader issue. They wanted something which will kickstart economic development. And we said, well, we are doing this. If you want, we can do it. Now we are in a phase of developing concepts, agreements. We decide soon memorandum of understanding. Then we will develop feasibility study.
Wow.
But we know what we can get from 4 universities in that. We know what we can get from experience of the energy communities.
Amazing, yeah.
Amazing what you can get from Holland, even though it's not fully copy-paste. You have to modify.
Adapted.
So that's a new challenge. That's a new challenge. And our biggest challenge is now how to get young people in all this. How to get not only professors from university, but students.
Yeah.
Not only students from Bosnia, but Bosnian students or engineers from Germany, Austria, where there are plenty. Half of my students, where I was a mentor, supervisor on their final degrees, are now doing PhDs in Europe, in Manchester, in Hamburg, in Munich, in Vienna. So to get young people involved, you need young people on both sides. So those are challenges. Those are challenges.
Intergenerational collaboration also.
Well, we are not going. We are first generation. My generation is the first one who really experienced climate change,
Wow.
and we are the last one who can really start something. But we will not implement that. It will be your generation who will implement that.
Completely agree.
Our think tank is to open the door on conservative policymakers
Okay,
because we have some leverage.
Well, you are a real bridge between academia, policymakers, and research.
And also between Western Balkan and Western Europe.
That's where we really try to now, when people know what we are, when we have some track record, when we have some references, okay, now should be growth phase. Pilot phase, incubation phase is probably over. And I was a president, now I'm not more I'm a president. There is a new president, younger one.
It's good.
So we try to put together energy, engineering, legal, financial, economic, social aspects, all necessary aspects of such a complex process which we on today's panel called Energy Revolution.
Energy Revolution. Wow. It has been a pleasure, Mr. And I think we are going to see each other again.
Be in
we are happy
touch.
to
Be in
collaborate.
touch. I will connect with the younger people
Yeah.
from our network, which will be more natural for you. And if there is any possibility, just exchange, cooperate. Who knows?
Amazing.
There might be
Do
some.
you know about Mirza Ghalib?
Mirza?
Ghalib?
No.
No? Okay.
He's
I'm gonna
what?
send a couple of things about him as well.
Okay.
Okay.
It's
Has
been
been
a
a
pleasure
pleasure.
talking
It was my pleasure also.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And thank you, community, for seeing the interview. And see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Good. So you are from
From India.
India. Good. I had very